Hey guys, Dale here, back with some more RimWorld, a brand new series. We are doing medieval series, medieval and RimWorld of Magic that we're calling House Stormguard. This is episode 0, so what we'll do here is we'll review some of the game setup. So the mods, the world, our ideologian, we'll take a look at some of the characters, but we'll get into the meat of the story or actual gameplay in part 1. So if kind of like the mod setup and the lore is not your bag and you just want to jump into gameplay, go ahead and skip this episode and hop into part 1. That should be premiering a little bit after this episode gets published. Okay, so what are we doing? The first thing I like to do is I like to take a look at Graphic Setter, just so you can see just a long list of what mods might be adding some of the most content. We have Anomaly Upscaled, Medieval Overhaul, Oracle's Miscellanea. Oh, actually, I'll need to show you guys that one. I'm very excited about it. Rebuild Doors and Corners. We have a bunch of Outland and Vanilla expanded stuff, RimWorld of Magic, a bunch of different styles and other factions. So let's take a look at some of that on the workshop. Okay, so first up, Medieval Overhaul. I think this is just kind of like a stopgap version that's been posted, not necessarily like the official version. I think there are some cool updates that are coming to the official version by Sir Lala Payan. I think you guys are probably a little bit familiar with this, if not a lot of bit familiar with it. This will be a lot of the style and it'll change some of the mechanics that we have in the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's next. We do have some additional factions that fit into the medieval setting. So we have the Barbarians mod, which adds some barbarian armor and weapons. Pretty cool looking, some northern horses. And this will also add a faction. I have manually changed the xenotypes of the factions or added xenotypes to the factions from the Forgotten Realms series of mods. So our barbarians will mostly be orcs and some half-orcs. House Roxmont, another mod that kind of complements the Medieval Overhaul series and also adds a faction and some custom weapons and armors and all that other fun stuff, even some foods. I've scanned House Roxmont to be Gith, so this will be a hostile Gith faction. RimWorld of Magic. It's been a long time since I played RimWorld of Magic, a couple years, and so I'm pretty excited. It is a mod that I used to play with exclusively every time I did a medieval run for years and years, and so it'll be fun to kind of revisit it. We also have Cure's RimWorld of Magic class expansion, so this adds tons of new classes. I have disabled some of the ones that feel a little bit more modern, like technomancers and other things that seem like that, so we shouldn't see any of those. Divine Order just feels like it fits into this medieval setting. It also adds just tons of new armors, robes, some weapons, and we'll utilize some of that in our colony as well. The Profaned. I've been wanting to try this out. I want to play as the Profaned at some point. We're not playing as the Profaned this time. But this is basically like an undead xenotype as well as some additional like animals or monsters. A style is added and just some weapons and armors. They look pretty cool. I think having undead nemesis, even like undead dragons and cats, ghost horses. I'm pretty excited to see how these guys show up and to see what of this would make sense to like build into our colony. Lightless Imperium. So this is separate from the Profane mod. I think there might have been some collaboration going on between these two, but on one of the mod pages, it mentions the Lightless Imperium as a new biome, and so I'm pretty excited to use that as the biome for our Profaned faction. And at some point, we'll have to do a Profane playthrough and play in the Lightless Imperium, but we will not be doing that this playthrough. We do have Anomaly upscaled. We also have like this stone platform. So what is this? T Seal the Spirit. So it's basically some tribal Anomaly additions. And then there are a couple mods that I mentioned that I don't have queued up. So let me pull those pages up real quick so that we can take. Okay, so we also have Outland terrain, not just the terrain, but like the Outland series of mods. So this kind of changes the terrain colors, makes it feel like it pops a lot more. And then the Outland series of mods is actually, let's take a look at that. Is a genetics core, which has like furniture and mechanics. We also have like the various Outland factions and floors. So we do have the Mott's Coalition, the Redburn Pact, Eastbourne Empire, and there is also the Vathun Nobles. Yeah, there we go. So we'll be seeing some of these guys in our playthroughs as factions on the world. And then the last little bit that I wanted to show you guys was Forgotten Realms is what we're using for a lot of our xenotypes. So these are like D&D xenotypes. We have tieflings, we have all kinds of dwarves and halflings, we have gith, we have gnomes and illithids, dwarves, bugbears, hobgoblins, even dragonborn, which is new since the last time I played it, and minotaur is also new. Campions and Deva, as well as the Ganassi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, let me know. And the Planeteer and Threekin are new since I last used this mod, so I'm excited to have a bunch of like fantasy xenotypes out in the world. It does come with some patches in this mod to patch like the vanilla factions, but we have a bunch of additional factions that we've added to the game with Medieval Overhaul and all that other stuff. So I have manually added various xenotypes to different factions so that we can have like a more diverse world as well. Let me go ahead and load up the game. We'll take a look at the world map, which I designed almost tile by tile. Okay, here is the world. The seed is Thalnor, and so for the most part, like the borders of the continent, all of this is naturally generated from the seed. What is not naturally generated is all the world features, so everything that we've named here on the map. The roads I put in myself, the biomes I put in myself, and all the factions, and even the names of all of these villages I changed myself. So what we've got here is we've got some high elves down here in the Assyrian woods. This is the Assyrian court. We have some tribals here in the Varia desert. We have the Kingdom of Kothane. We have the Rocksmont down here in a cloud forest, so this is like our Gith faction. We have the Thani Sea, as well as Thani over here, the Kingdom of Thani. Some desert, extreme desert, arid area that's pretty much empty called the Brimming Waste. Up here is the Mithra Dominion, and so these grasslands we call Mithra. Oswin Fields with House Oswin down here. We have some Impids in the Firefang Desert. We have the Mott's Collective over here against this lake, just kind of south of the Grimfen, east of Redburn Savannah. The Redburn Savannah is occupied by the Redburn Pact, which I think these are like maybe goblins and hobgoblins. We have our Skull Crusher clan, barbarian factions here in the Grimfen. Some of them have also wandered up into this boreal forest up here. Here in the center of the map, kind of blocking south from north, is the Shroud, a dark forest filled with the Moonstalkers and a faction of dark elves. These are actually going to be drow from the Forgotten Realms. Down here we have the Ruby Boil in a boiling forest, and this is the Ruby Court. These are some neutral wood elves. We have the Amboise Woods with House Amboise. And over here in Arcadia Bay, we have the Arcadian Republics. So we have the Western, Central, and Eastern Republics from the Vanilla Factions Expanded Classical Series, or Classical Mod. Up here, we have a Golden Forest biome. We have some more High Elves up here. These guys are neutral, whereas these guys are unfriendly to us. And this is the Golden Court. Over here in this, what is this? Is this a aspen forest? We have a little aspen forest and some more marsh up here. We have the Vathun nobles in Vathun. We also have the Doba tribe in the Doba marshlands. Way out to the west, we have the Fold, which is where the Arcane Fold is hiding out here in an aspen forest. And then pretty north central to the map, we have this mountain range and this alpine meadow with Neanderthals that we call the Cradle of Men. We have Frostburn Pass, glacier here, as well as some more dark elves in a dark wood or dark forest. These guys are neutral to us, and they're just north of the Wild Grove with some hostile wood elves in it. And then, wow, wrapping up pretty closely, we have the Sanguine Wood in this boreal forest with House Sanguine. We have the Eastbourne Empire that we've renamed Guardians of the Cloud Grove over here in another cloud forest. And then what's going on over here is kind of a mess. So in my headcanon, slash, I guess since it's, my game, it's not really my headcanon. In the lore here, this whole peninsula used to be a great empire. It's now known as the Shattered Empire. They have very few established colonies left. They have Ruinfall, Wasteland Cross, and the Lost Watch. And basically, because of their hubris, using magic and thinking that they were great and powerful and could do no wrong, a calamity happened, which created the Profane Legion. And so these old cities of the Shattered Empire are now settlements for the Profane Legion. And as the Profane Legion has spread, they're spreading this Twilight Imperium biome with them. So just this dark forest, no sunlight ever. And I've kind of bordered it with Badlands, Extreme Desert, and arid shrubland. So the Profane Reach used to be the Shattered Empire. We now call these the Shattered Lands. We now call these the Ruins of the Shattered Empire or the Profane Reach. They have invaded across the sea, and as they've spread out here, we've been calling this the Profane Expansion. There's more Badlands, Desert, Extreme Desert, and arid shrubland that's radiating out from it as, what was there is lost. So the Shattered Sound is this big water feature, and down here is the Bay of Storms. This peninsula used to be Stormhaven, and is now called the Ruins of Stormhaven. Our faction was a noble house that was part of the Kingdom of Stormhaven, and they have just kind of taken a boat and decided to settle here at this little river delta in this aspen vale across the Bay of Storms. So we have the Profane Legion here, and then we also have the Divine Order, who I think is pretty hostile to everyone. But we're gonna RP that these guys are extreme zealots that have kind of risen from the ashes of what was the Shattered Empire. Maybe they've recruited some other really religious zealots to kind of hold watch over the Profane Legion. And so we have, Valor's Rest, Purity Watch, the ruins of, actually, let's rename that Stormhaven. I was going to call it the Kingdom of Stormguard, but it's going to be the Kingdom of Stormhaven, and House Stormguard was just a pretty high noble house, not the actual ruling house or king of Stormhaven. So we have the Dawnhold and we have Last Hearth here. That's kind of the geopolitical situation that's going on in the world. Let's have a look at our map. And so this is what we've got going on. It was just kind of like a coast, and for some reason it wasn't very mountainous, so that was kind of rough. I was able to add in a river with Map Designer and a lake with Map Designer. So we have this lake down here, we have moving water. There was like a natural pond that generated here. We were able to fidget with the lake, so we've got this like little island over here. We've got this kind of peninsula over here, and then I think it just it doesn't make too much sense for people to come attack from like the Bay of Storms, or like walk in from the Bay of Storms. So I've gone ahead and just put like deep water around all that. But we will show you guys the colonists, and we'll take a look at our initial base plans. So we're going to leverage this island, we're going to leverage this peninsula, and the rest of this will be like hunting grounds. We have a lot going on here, and we'll take a look. So planning. Let's just, actually that doesn't help. We'll just look at the cursor. This is going to be our keep up here. And so this is the throne room. We got some tables in the throne room, a throne. We have some spots for harps and pianos. We have 4 bedrooms that are part of the throne room. I'm not sure if we'll use them all. There's a little courtyard up here that'll be like a little garden leading into the keep. We're going to have storage over here. So this will be like an armory. And this will be a little barracks for kind of like the King's Guard. So we have a couple beds, they have a little table, they have like some storage. The keep is walled off mostly, except along the coast. Over here we have a little cookhouse, as well as just kind of like a servant's quarters. So they'll be crafting hopefully like fine or lavish meals here to serve the keep. We have stables out here, and then potentially we have like some little areas, right, like here, in these corners that maybe we could utilize for production spaces. Like maybe we'll set up like a little blacksmithing area up here or something. But I think our first focus will to be kind of like get ourselves established in some part of the keep structure, and then we'll work on expanding the city out. You can see kind of here we have another wall separating this part of the city from this part of the city. So this will be the upper city. So we have the keep, we have the upper city. In the upper city we have a graveyard back here. This will be our cathedral. So the center room will be our ideology room with pews. This will be a chapel. I was thinking that this would be a hospital, but it's pretty far from the front gate, so I would like to get a hospital closer to the front gate. Very placeholder. There are a lot of like open areas. I think in the upper city, what I would like to do is build some larger housing for people of noble backgrounds, which at this rate, we don't really have anyone of noble background. We have titular royalty, so we can kind of make up our own titles and grant them to our colonists ourselves. It won't really do anything for them other than just kind of like granting them that title. And so, as colonists, do remarkable things, we might give them a plot of land in the upper city and design a home for them. This big circle is going to be our mage tower. I haven't designed the interior yet, but that's kind of like the big features of the city will be this castle, the cathedral, and then the mage tower. And then down here in the lower city, I've designed some of these spaces. It's probably a little bit of an eyesore. Sorry about that. Like we have some single row housing here and here. All these spaces with the yellow in them they'll be buildings, but I haven't defined what the building will be for yet. I wanted the lower city to be like really crowded and really tight. So we'll kind of figure that as it goes. Like, we'll want recreation for them, we'll want a cookhouse, we'll want storage, we'll want food storage, all that fun stuff. And then all along these walls, we have these circular towers that will have embrasures and all that fun stuff. And I haven't, like, this wall should open up there, and this should have a door there, and all that fun stuff. I'll go through and kind of like clean those plans as we go. We have like a little gatehouse going into the keep. We have a gatehouse coming into the main city. So this is our main gate, the front entrance to the city. Ooh. I don't have anything that limits technology. We don't have any factions that are of higher technology, right? We don't have Outlanders. We don't have mechanoids turned on. But maybe I'll have to use Cherry Picker to like make sure that we don't get assault rifles as quest rewards. So I'll probably destroy some of that stuff with dev mode, just because we're not going to do any mechanator stuff. And then over here, I'm going to refer to this part, this walled off part, as maybe the greens. Like, I think initially we'll build a barracks out of some of the plans here, and we'll probably like farm and do a lot of things local. But as the city expands, I think we'll move farming out over this way. We'll get some farmhouses over here. And yeah, so that's kind of the plan. When we take a look at our colonists, we have quite a few people. We started with 8, which is kind of intimidating to start with. That's a lot of mouths to feed. But we have Zara Stormguard. She is the lady of the House Stormguard. We have Rowan, who is the lord of the House Stormguard. We have, and I've named a lot of these other folks after recommendations. I have a list in Discord if you'd like to recommend some names. So Findo is a name recommendation that we have. We have Findo Gask here. Actually, let's take a look. So Zara, our lady of the House Stormguard, she's an entertainer. So basically, as she like levels up her magic ability, she'll be able to do bard things. She can do a battle hymn if we are able to find the book to learn that spell. She can put people to sleep, but she'll be able to entertain and inspire people. So that's pretty exciting. Rowan, the Lord of the House Stormguard, is a paladin. And so he'll be able to do some healing. He'll be able to do some shielding. He'll be able to charge into battle. We have Findo Gask here, who is a priest. I don't think he's capable of combat. Oh, he is capable of combat. I have I think there's a RimWorld of Magic patches mod that kind of like makes it so people aren't not capable of combat and things. So if we need him to, he can fight. He's very bad at it. But he will be our moral guide as well as our priest. He'll be able to heal people potentially if we find the book so that he can learn resurrection. He might be able to res people as well. We have Mary Starfall here, who is, oh my gosh, what kind of tiefling are you? You are an abyssal tiefling. And you are also a summoner. So she'll be able to summon minions that will like do hauling and cleaning and stuff, as well as summon like temporary turrets and even big elemental eventually. Mary is married to Radon, who is another name suggestion. And Radon is a different kind of tiefling. He's a chthonic tiefling, and he is a fire mage. Gear-wise, he's wearing a bunch of the ancient alkalite apparel stuff from Ancient Armor. I have patched it so that, or I manually modified it so that it provides bonuses to spellcasting like it were RimWorld of Magic gear. I've also reskinned some of the things. So this is an arcane hood, and these are robes of the Archmage. I might change that. I feel like that's a really good look for a priest. Maybe not necessarily what we want our mages running around in. What Radon's wearing, we could have our mages wear that. We could have like more holy characters wear the priest gear. We have Doral Stoneforge, who is a geomancer. We have Ronald Cristiano. Another name recommended for the series. He is a hunter. Both that will be his job and that is his magical profession. And last but not least, Fordo, who I think I've named the character Fordo before, but I don't have too many names currently in the name suggestions. If you guys have any good medieval fantasy sounding names, feel free to leave them in the comments or, post them in Discord in the name request section. But Fordo is a knight and his profession is gladiator. So he'll be able to do all kinds of melee combat things. But I think that is it for all of the setup and all of that stuff. Thanks for hanging out. The part 1 episode's coming out right after this. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys are as excited about the series as I am. Bye!